Alright guys, Fortune here with Jackalmen Games along with Karma from the Dothan Deathwatch group, commentating for round 3 of the Birmingham Star Wars Destiny Regionals. Listen to that intro. So professional.
It's so professional, and I'm still trying to get over the anxiety of rewatching my round 2 match that stressed me out so bad. It just re-stressed me out.
If you guys are just jumping in now for whatever reason, go back and watch round 2 because that was a ridiculous game.
It was very ridiculous, but it was such a good matchup.
Alright, so this round we got, it looks like Cassian and Iden versus...
No, that's Jin Cassian
Is that Jin?
versus
Yeah,
Han and Qi'ra running the No Allegiance.
Listen, I'm blind, so everybody looks alike.
That's what I'm here for.
That's right.
I have glasses.
So Han, Qi'ra, No Allegiance is super strong. They both start off with, I believe, 12 HP, 24 health, super fast, lots of really great weapons because yellow hero. Or not weapons, excuse me, but...
just yellow in general, plus Kira's ability to have yellow hero and yellow villain mitigation is just so good. I think she's a very underrated character, personally. I love playing with her in a deck I have.
Yep. All right, so same thing I've been asking for the last 2 rounds. Initially, what's your thought on which deck's probably going to win this matchup?
Honestly, both of these decks are super good. Jin Cassian definitely sees a lot more play than Han Qi'ra does, I think, as far as tournaments go. Because that deck can just go both ways when it comes to either mill or damage. But it hits pretty hard when it comes to damage, when it's rolling it in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, both of these decks are what I'd like to call the new version of Hyper Aggro.
Yeah.
Where they aren't immediately always, here's 50 dice with 50 damage and resolved immediate, but they can throw a big punch at any given time.
And I think Jin Cassian definitely has a little bit of an edge with the red access, so it has that access to hit and run. Where Han Qi'ra really only has access to like quick draw if you're trying to play a hyper aggro like that.
Right. All right, so it looks like the Han Qi'ra won the roll-off, so it looks like we're missing the shields on the other player here. That's 2 out of 3 rounds so far.
That's a big deal too, because that could easily be equal health for 24-24 with 2 shields on Cassian.
We do see an immediate Theed power action for 3 resources.
Theed in that deck is just beautiful. Like, Theed's just a great battlefield, but on that deck it's just perfect.
There we go. So we just fixed... I was about to say that we missed the extra action for Theed since they have neutral characters, but it was them correcting the 2 shields.
Yes.
1 gets removed from the Hidden Blaster.
Which was a perfect time to correct it because of the Hidden Blaster.
That's probably why it was corrected. He went to play it and then realized, oh, there's no shields there.
Oh, and drop-in is so good right here too.
Yep. What does drop-in do for those at home?
Drop-in lets you activate a character, and if you're playing on your battlefield, it gives you ambush.
And that means that he's been able to Theed power action.
With an extra action.
He's been able to play Hidden Blaster
with an extra action, and then drop-in with ambush.
And then drop-in and roll in. So he's done 3 things turn 1.
Yes.
And he immediately resolved, I believe, 4 damage? Yeah, 4 damage.
Of course, going for Jin. Do you agree with Jin being the first target for this deck?
Jin is 100% the first target.
I agree.
So Cassian has some control with being able to discard or deal extra damage from his dice, but Jin guarantees them getting rid of the most scary top 3 cards. So,
and then if she gets her blaster, she just gets a little bit more gross.
Yeah, if Jin gets her blaster down and you haven't pumped a lot of damage into her already, game's over.
Yeah.
Jin's blaster is ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous, and then if she hit and runs, it's just gosh.
All right, looks like we got a
Nerf Scruffy looking Nerf hurt
her. Maybe not.
Oh, okay. He must have Han. He's Han. Did the Han special?
There you go. He
revealed a hero card. Yes. But now that he knows that now that it's out there.
So Jin rolled in, looking at the top 3 cards of the deck. Probably. I was trying to make out what we saw when she drew them, but it went a little bit too quick. So top 1 gets discarded. We're going to lose the jetpack. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even mention at the start of this video, on the right is another member of Jackalmen Games, Headless Django. We'll see him many more times throughout this series, because he was at the top tables literally all day. So it looks like Scruffy gets played. It means he gets to take a look at her hand. Can you make out anything that's in there?
I see a first aid. Well, not a first aid. A field medic, suppressive fire, hits the handheld cannon.
Yeah. So handheld cannon's gone.
He called upgrade, which is smart.
I also like to see that you kind of like tilted your head to try and go behind the monitor to see what's in his hand.
Well, let me see if I can see what's in there. It kind of worked, honestly. It worked a little bit,
So Cassian rolled in, hit the 2 and the 2 and a blink.
Qi'ra hit the 3 for 1 and a blank.
And a blank.
That 3 for 1 side is just, oof, I love it.
It's so good late game, but not so much.
Yeah, early you
while
kind of
you're
want to
setting
build up your weapons and things like that to start with. Maybe have some money for mitigation.
Right. So here's what I was talking about earlier about these decks being able to just hit like a truck at any given
That's
time.
8 damage,
We saw a discard to reroll into another 4 damage.
which is just gross.
What do you think about situations like that? Would you already resolve the 4 damage that's on the board first, or would you discard to reroll?
I mean, if you have the damage out there and they don't come after it, they either have no mitigation or they are waiting to see if you're going to try to roll into more damage. A lot of the time, I feel like the person doesn't have mitigation because 4 damage to me is a lot of damage to try to get rid of if you can, especially if it's like a base and a modifier.
Very true. So we've seen both decks throwing punches. We've got 9 damage down on Django's side and 8 damage down on the other side.
So it's almost evenly matched at this point.
And we get a discard to get rid of one of the 2 last cards in Django's hand.
Which Django would have actually done more because he got rid of shields as well.
That's true, so. Technically, he did one with the Hidden Blaster and then knocked the other shield down.
So it's about even, but that's still a very strong round with 7 damage on Jin and 8 damage on Han. So that's pretty gross.
Right. And we were also having some video stuttering. I'm not sure if that is just the video playback or the recording itself. Just as a heads up, that's probably on our end if you're seeing it on YouTube. So we saw a power action on Theed, gets him the 3rd resource, which means he's got another action, which lets him just roll a character in. Not a whole lot of action cheating this turn.
Yeah, but Han is definitely a good choice to try to threaten with before he gets taken off the field.
Very true. Character at low health, go ahead and get him in there and get what you can do. We did get a modifier side with no base side damage, so he's not much of a threat. Jin rolls a discard and a blank and picks the top 3 off the deck.
I did see a Vandalize as one of the top 3 cards.
So I think Django's probably the first person that I've seen ever run Jetpack. Ever.
Right?
So what do you think about seeing that in this deck?
I think it's interesting because it's just it's not a card that sees very much play anymore at all. The Jetpack has that ability to mess with melee sides, right?
Yeah, I believe it removes it and gives you a shield.
So it definitely probably has something to do with Vader, I'm sure.
Right, I'm sure.
Even though it removes the die, it still gives him the chance to power action. But as far as it, like imagine playing that, using its ability, making him power action, and then having mitigation.
Right.
So now he's just kind of killed it, and he lost a card in the process.
So from Jin's ability, we did see Django lose Vandalize, and then did she hit and run? Yeah, she hit and run Jin and used her ability, and then rolled in Cassian.
But she got a 1 base side, 2 base side, and a resource. So she's got 3 damage sitting out there right now.
Which isn't enough to take out Han because he has 12 health from no allegiance.
Yep. Oh, playing Rebel.
Playing Rebel.
Rebel, you know.
Exact same word, you know.
Oh, very nice for the drop-in. And the drop-in
go.
is free, but that's pretty slick.
The drop-in would have been important had he been able to roll that damage in and get it off.
I mean, he could take the extra action for 5 resources if he wanted to, because qi'ra knows how to make money.
That's true. But the problem is,
there's
the
bait and switch. There we go.
I was going to say, Han's probably going to die here.
So that's 5 damage right there.
Yeah. So that 5 damage takes
her off the board, because that's 12.
Off the board, yeah.
Very nice. That's very good play, and that was very smooth. I'm not going to lie. That's nice.
And is that a 2 damage side or a 3 damage side on the LS? I think it only has a 2 damage side, right?
I think it's a 2, and then it has a 3 modifier.
Yeah, so that's a 2 and a 1, which puts him at 11, which leaves him alive. So we get a discard to reroll for the 1 damage that she needed to go ahead and kill Han.
With a non-redeploy. Oh.
And what is that?
Easy pickings
for the ones.
Very
there
nice. And a deck with 2 yellow characters is just nice, because that card's always active.
Easy pickings is always live.
Yep.
We do see the 2 damage go down onto Han, leaving him with just 2 life.
I think I would be that person playing that deck and forgetting my extra life.
You probably would.
I would just now if I played it a bunch, then I definitely would start remembering it, but right off the bat I'd probably forget.
So we got 3 more resources coming down, because this deck can make resources like no one's business. Yeah. This is also a really small upgrade matchup. Like neither one of them have gotten a ton of upgrades down.
Right. I think they only had the 1 each, and then now the other player has initiative, so if they take Han off the board, he has none. Because it's non-redeploy.
Oh, we see discard of Wanton Destruction.
And he hits for a 2 damage.
Spoilers, Wanton Destruction comes into play later on in the day. During Top 8, we were actually live casting with myself, Cruisin' from Sons of Mandalore and the Gandork, one of the FFG's head judges. And every time we saw Wanton Destruction played, we all just exploded in laughter because it's an amazing card.
It is an amazing card. It's expensive, but if you can play that against somebody, ugh. Especially against Vader, gross.
Right. All right, so
And
speaking
Jin's
of upgrades,
Blaster.
Jin's Blaster comes out on Cassian. It's not the best play to play it, but I mean, if
Yeah.
you got it, you may as well.
I would definitely say it's a little late on it, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have the extra damage roll in.
Right.
Because you're only 2 damage shy of taking a character out.
Looks like we see an Overwrite probably into
Holdout Blaster for a redeploy.
that redeploy.
Oh, yeah.
He
very
knows
smart.
Han's going to die soon, so go ahead and roll his dice out and get that redeploy so that qi'ra has a weapon.
Yep, I definitely agree with that.
We got a
Resource,
blank.
a discard, and a blank.
There you go.
So not what he wanted, I'm sure, but oof.
Oof.
Was that 4 damage?
Yep, 4 damage, a shield, and a blank.
Yep.
And he doesn't like you.
I wonder if she remembers her ability for the Jin Blaster, where you can reroll it, or discard a card off the top of the deck.
Maybe.
If
We
you
don't
spot
have,
Jin, then you can reroll her
yeah,
dice. But
we don't have player audio, so I can't hear what's going on right at the moment, but there's a lot of thinking happening. It looks like
so
she doesn't.
She doesn't do it. I don't know if she missed the trigger or not, but I mean, I definitely would have rerolled for some more damage if possible,
Right.
because I easily could have turned into like a 7 damage roll.
All right, so 2 resources were just spent
Oof.
for Entangle. Now, that gets rid of the 2 damage and the blank, which leaves, I believe, lethal on Han on the board, but that's okay because he really didn't have anything great on his dice. We get the redeploy over to qi'ra.
But the Cassian die were the better choices because that would have just left where an indirect to hit and everything.
Right, yeah, that was definitely the correct choice. He couldn't have gotten rid of both the 2s anyway,
Yeah.
so Han was dying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
doing that lowered the amount of damage going into qi'ra, making her better for the next round.
Oof. Rolling in and getting almost the same result as a while ago. A discard, a resource, and a blank. Wow, it's
Yeah,
like the exact same result.
Same. Speaking of discarding, Rebel is discarded for a +2. Or is that a +3?
That's a +3,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's not very helpful right now.
And then a discard on Vandalize to get some
Oh,
damage.
Yes. So
3
2
for
damage
1
and a
on the
3
2.
for 1, so that's 5 damage. The two good sides right there.
Yep. Oh, it looked like she used defensive position, so it got rid of both of his
Oh my
damage sides.
God.
I'd just claim here, honestly.
Yeah.
Unless he's got something in his hand that's worth playing, just go ahead and claim and get first action next round.
I mean, you have 3 resources. You're going to get 2 more, and you have Thief.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll go in basically with 6.
There's the claim. He's
Yeah.
going into the next round with basically 6 resources, and I'm sure he's running a hyperspace jump too. So he gets first action, he can Theed, he can roll in, he can resolve his damage before she can do anything, and
Hopefully,
then jump.
if he's,
Speaking of hyperspace jump,
especially if he's running quick draw and he can get a hold of it.
right. And
get the
Indifferent gets
Indifference.
discarded.
That card is just perfect in that deck, too.
I believe it's only a single dice mitigation, right?
Yeah, you have to spot a neutral character to play
Right.
it.
It's single dice mitigation, which isn't great, but it'll be a much better card once rotation hits and we get rid of a lot of the bigger mitigation cards that are out there.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So, I mean, he could easily drop 2 weapons right now if he wanted to. I
That's
mean, I'm
very
not saying
true.
you would want to, but, like, if you had that potential to do that with a quick draw
Right.
and just go straight into rolling a bunch of damage.
I'm not going to say that I didn't do that a lot when I played Snoke Cad. But
It's so hard. Well, you don't even need quick draw, though.
right.
with Cad.
But I'm saying I'm not going to say that I never played multiple weapons in one turn.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you have the money and you're not worried about it, and he had a drop in, so close
Drop
enough.
in. So he played an X8 and he dropped in. Well, he feeded, X8'd,
X8.
and dropped
I mean,
in.
that's so many actions, and he rolled some
And
pretty
there's a
decent
lot of damage too.
Well, 3 damage, but and a +2 resource and a discard. But I mean, it would put Cassian at 6, so I mean, he wouldn't be far from gone.
Right.
But he could always X8 and turn it to a 3.
And he's going to
Oh,
bait
the
and
bait
switch to the 3 for 1.
Oh, that's 6
Spins
damage.
2 for 6 more damage.
That's actually all he need. That was more than he needed.
No, that's that puts her at 1, right?
That's Cassian. He's only got 10 health.
Yeah, but that's 6
That's
damage.
6
showing.
damage. It's
7, 8,
9.
Yeah. It looks like there was a handshake, though, so I think the opponent just went ahead and conceded there and called it the game. He did have that hyperspace jump in his hand, though.
And it's just gross.
Yeah.
He could
So-
have totally played the other X8, though.
Yeah, that match buttoned up really easily. It honestly could have gone either way. As we mentioned earlier, both of those decks just throw a big punch out of nowhere. So if he had rolled bad there or didn't get all the extra actions that turn, she definitely could have still pulled it out.
Yep.
But honestly, he would have just resolved all of that there. He would have hyperspaced, move on to the next round, and done it all over again.
Yeah, and just called it a day on that round.
Yeah.
And it still would have been at the advantage. So.
Right. All right, guys, that was round 3 with Headless Django taking the win home for us. We'll see you all again in round 4.